On the Clarity Windows and Doors news line at 7:19, Steve Cotton joins us, financial strategist and policy expert. You know, diesel prices have been going way up, and that's going to affect prices of a lot of things because so many of our trucks are diesel-powered. In fact, I think most of them are. And that's going to raise the stakes when it comes to the midterm elections coming up in just, 7 months from now. Steve, I would hope people would see the bigger picture here, that we're doing something that should have been done years ago, but it's getting done.
Well, good morning, and glad to be with you. You're exactly right. You've got to see the bigger picture, the bigger strategic picture. Basically, there are two things going on right now. The Iranians think they can outlast Donald Trump by trying to evade the blockade. But by the same token, the Trump administration believes that the Iranians are going to be out of extra supply and have to start shutting in their wells and their production, which could permanently damage their formations and their ability to produce in the future. It's a game of chicken. I don't know who's going to win that. I think President Trump is trying to move them toward a settlement, but these are IRGC radicals. They are not necessarily rational actors that understand the West.
No, I don't know that they do, and I'm not sure that we understand their mindset either. It may just be a complete lack of understanding of each other, but, I hear people say they don't care about their own people as if that's a revelation. They never have cared about their own people. Their goal is to stay in power. If there are no people left in the country at all, that doesn't matter to them.
Well, they have been very brutal toward their people. They've killed 20, 30,000 protesters and they've recently hung a number of athletes. And I mean, the regime is this is like the Nazis in the late 1930s. And if Trump's strategy of forcing them to give up their nuclear program and their other military aspects succeeds, this could set up the stage for the longest peacetime period in the Middle East, with economic development for all the countries there, potentially including Iran. But I don't think the radicals are going to really compromise, and I don't trust any deal that they would agree to.
Steve, I have to ask the question because President Trump's been saying that the economy in Iran is about to collapse. It's just weeks away. They're going to cap the wells. It's just days away, et cetera. And we've been hearing this now for a month. Are we heading in a positive direction there?
Well, the Iranians have 20 or 30 years experience at invading sanctions. They knew that this was a possibility. They'd have to shut in production. They've been trying to sneak tankers full of exported oil around the blockade to avoid having to shut in their wells. I think they're going to have to at some point. There are 3 or 4 different predictions as to when this is going to happen. Some predicted an end of April. Some predicted mid-May. But there's a general consensus that at some point they're going to have to shut in production because they don't have any other storage capacity. And that could really put them in a bind. When the IRGC can't pay its own thugs and soldiers, they've got real problems. But this is an ideological group that's radical, and in the past they have always been able to get what they wanted through negotiation, and they're still trying that approach.
Yeah, and that's the concern, I guess, for everybody. You can't trust them no matter what they say or do. I think they're just buying time to move around their weaponry, what they have left.
Well, this is where you see the intersection of U.S. domestic politics and international politics, because they're well aware of the midterm elections in 6 months, and they know there's pressure on Trump to end this. They're betting that the West will cave, that Trump will cut a deal, and they will survive. I think, frankly, if this regime survives, it's a betrayal of the Iranian people that really need to be liberated. They're hungering for that.
Yeah, they're hungering for it, but so far we have not heard any stories of them doing anything to try to stop this outside their rise earlier, where we had so many people killed. I would have thought that once the war began that they would have really risen up.
Well, I think there are two things. There's the public stuff that we see. I think there's a hidden covert operations side. It would not, I have no inside information, but it would not surprise me if the Israelis and the CIA were quietly arming elements of the opposition to rise up at a strategic moment and retake their government. I think that's the second piece of this that Trump is not going to talk about, but may very well be going on under the surface.
And that's really what it's going to take. I mean, 47 years, these people went from looking like all of us, normal, wearing whatever you want, walking dogs. Can't do any of that. And it really has to go back to them to say, this is how we're going to live now. We're not doing this anymore.
Well, somebody said the other day, I think it was the president said, the problem is these people don't have any weapons. But I think that covert operations are probably trying to provide them weapons. And the problem is who has been identified as a potential opposition leader. And I think that's where it gets a little fuzzy. And that may be part of the delay here.
Yeah. Steve Cotton, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on.
Most welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right.